Good afternoon. It's Tuesday, November 26th, 2024. I finally got those Christmas cards printed last night at Walmart after all that drama that happened with them throughout the weekend. You can listen to that story on the Peaches Pit Party podcast from yesterday, wherever you get your podcasts. I noticed a man sort of looking at me that was also in the electronics department, and he was walking around, making his way around the area. He came up to me after a short while and asked, "Hey, you probably get this a lot, but are you Peaches?" And I said, of course. Found out his name's Kyle. We hung out there for a little bit while my cards were finishing up. Works for the city of Idaho Falls. Shout out to Kyle for talking with me yesterday. He was wanting a K-Bear sticker, so he actually waited for me to be done with everything, my cards, and then I run up my skillet meal in a bag that I got from the frozen section. And we walked out to my car. I have a pile of K-Bear stickers in my center console, specifically for situations like that. You never know when you're going to run into a listener. It's always great to meet listeners out in public. For the most part, I have headphones in when I shop at places like Walmart. This time I didn't, but don't be afraid ever to get my attention and say, hey. I may have a mean look in my face. I try not to, but I'm not mad most of the time anyway. 208-535-1015 is the number to reach me. Peaches Pit Party will return here in just a few on K-Bear 101. I feel like this question could go wrong in so many different ways. If I were to ask it to Peach their own, what is the trashiest thing someone has done at your family Thanksgiving? Somebody asked that on Ask Reddit, and some of the responses are quite funny. My aunt, uncle, and cousins make no food, take 90% of it home. They also get there late and leave first. It's funny how people think they can get away with something like that. Also, another answer here. My aunt decided to announce she got... Whoa, we can't say that on the air. Never mind. Forget that answer. My uncle poured Crown Royal whiskey on his turkey and ate it. Okay. I mean, it's his own plate, it's his own body. He likes it. Cool. Neat. My brother lit a firecracker in his... Well, I can't say that either. He went to the hospital, but made it back in time for dinner. Who's lighting fireworks on Thanksgiving? Yeah, we eating turkey at 3 p.m. Let's light off that bottle rocket. Like, it doesn't make any sense to me. I have an uncle who once got so drunk he decided to mix the red and white wines together. Okay, I'm not a wine drinker, so I don't know how trashy that is. My blasted uncle got butt naked for the "What do you give thanks for?" speeches. Okay, that would be a fun time to experience for sure. If my uncle's listening to the podcast version of this show, don't get any ideas, please. I'm not going to be there at my family's Thanksgiving, and I truly don't want to see Uncle Sonny naked. He's 70 years old. No thanks. No thanks at all. The worst day to go Thanksgiving shopping is today, out of all days. Yep, seems the absolute worst day to go to the supermarket for the ingredients is this afternoon. Apparently, everyone assumes that Wednesday will be the worst day to shop. I was assuming that, so they go on Tuesday instead. Wednesday is actually a little lighter. However, you might have a harder time finding the ingredients you need on days like tomorrow. If you're doing last-minute shopping today and tomorrow, I don't say you deserve to have the crowd, because the crowd sucks for the most part, right? You got to deal with battling around people. I was walking around Walmart yesterday like it was some sort of a NFL tryout. I was going around the people with carts coming out of the aisle, pushing their way into my way, and yeah, it's a tough time out there. Got to be careful. Got to be careful even driving around. There's people in rushes trying to make their way to places like Albertsons for some sort of seasoning that they need. And they're trying to find the best deal. It's nice being by myself for Thanksgiving. I don't have to worry about prepping a whole family meal. I can just please myself with maybe even something out of the freezer section. Maybe some pot stickers in a bag. I'll be thankful for that for Thanksgiving. As I've said before, we'll be here on Black Friday. Now, Black Friday shopping may not be as popular as it used to be. Cyber Monday now taking the crown. Most people don't necessarily want to battle the crowd. I get it. But more than 50% of Americans said they still plan to do some shopping the day after Thanksgiving. That's typically what I do, is that on Black Friday, I'll go around and try finding some sort of great deal and convince myself that I need to have it. That's usually when I buy video games that I wanted to buy initially, but I'm not going to pay the full price tag. I don't think I've paid a full price tag for a video game in almost 2 years. NBA 2K25 is the first NBA 2K game where I didn't buy it the day of release, only because these games seem to be getting worse and worse and worse. And the companies behind them are not bothering to listen to the consumers. So I might get it for real cheap. I know it's already on sale. I'll see if it gets even cheaper on Black Friday. See if there's any other games out there like Hogwarts Legacy. Been wanting to play that ever since it came out, but it wasn't on sale till this week. I saw it was on sale for like $20. Cyberpunk still more expensive. It's around $30. It's better to wait for video games for sure. Just wait I don't know how long it is, maybe a year or so, to then buy it when the price goes way down. One of my friends bought a game that for like the most ridiculous amount of money. He bought like the gaming bundle, which came with like a little figure. I think he spent like $300 on it. And then literally the next week, that game was on the Xbox Game Pass for everyone to enjoy. So it's better to wait. Better to wait. This right here is your Shot Clock Sports Update. The calls for Saquon Barkley of the Philadelphia Eagles to get a serious look at as MVP of the season have only grown since he set a franchise record for most single-game rushing yards, 255, and yards from scrimmage, 302, against the LA Rams on Sunday night. If Barkley keeps up the pace and wins the award, he would be the first running back to do it in 12 years. Adrian Peterson of the Minnesota Vikings won it in 2012, and before that, the last running back to win was LaDainian Tomlinson in 2006. That long ago. Apparently, Jake Paul is tired of all the online posts about how his rather boring fight with Mike Tyson was fixed, and that Tyson couldn't throw certain punches at Paul. Paul's promotion company issued a statement saying that since rigging a boxing match is a federal crime, there's no way they could do that. They would do that. They added, suggesting anything other than the full effort from these fighters is not only naive, but an insult to the work they put into their craft and to the sport itself. It looked very obviously rigged. A very obvious exhibition. And in softball news, here we go. A new women's pro softball league will launch next year. The Athletes Unlimited Softball Club, the AUSL, will have a 30-game season for each of its 4 teams, and 30 AUSL games will be exclusively broadcast on ESPN, ESPN2, or ESPNU. The sites of these games will be held at different locations around the country with the aim of finding out which cities will come out to watch. The league hopes to use that info to select 6 permanent cities for teams in 2026. That does it for your Shot Clock Sports Update right here on K-Bear 101. I know there's been a lot of holiday talk on this show here today. Well, Thanksgiving's going to be here in 2 days, and Christmas will be here before you even know it. This 32-year-old woman on Reddit, she explained that her younger sister wants the family to sign a code of conduct for the holiday season. I think that's pretty cool. Let's read more about it here. This year, my sister decided she wanted to help bring some order to the gathering. She showed up at my house. The younger sister showed up at her house last week with printed copies of what she called a family code of conduct. The code included Thanksgiving rules like taking turns talking at the dinner table, a ban on political topics, a dress code, and assigned seating. There we go. That's perfect. I like that a lot. I think every family should do something like that. The poster said, no to the code, which has caused disagreement. Well, if you don't like it, don't show up. Tell everyone else that if they're happy about a code of conduct, they're free to attend your sister's house. One commenter said, you can even sign a Declaration of Thanksgiving Independence. Another person joked. Yeah, definitely. I like that a lot. I think if you're tempted to talk about anything political on Thanksgiving, you should be banned not only from that Thanksgiving, but the year after. Growing up, I've always wanted to go to Disney World. I've been to Disneyland a handful of times. Haven't been recently. I think the last time I was at Disneyland was back in 2017 when I got invited because my internship with the radio station Coast 103.5, they have their Christmas private party at Disneyland. And they just had me go in for free because I was technically part of the staff for a semester. I've always wanted to go to Disney World, see the other rides there, see how much bigger it is compared to Disneyland. Well, Disney World is flipping their Aerosmith roller coaster, the Rock and Roller Coaster with Aerosmith. It's being overtaken by the Muppets. Yeah, it's a very weird. That's a very weird route to go. I was talking about it with Victor this morning. I mentioned it to him. This coaster's been around for 25 years, and Victor was saying how Aerosmith's not really relevant to the kids. I'm like, well, neither are the Muppets. I think the Muppets are older than Aerosmith. Muppets first episode, January 30th, 1974. Aerosmith. Should I put like first album and then go from there? 1973. The Muppets are only over a year older than, or a year younger than Aerosmith. Why did they go the Muppets route? That's what I want to know. A statement from the official Disney Parks blogs reads in part, to make ways for the monsters, Kermit the Frog, Miss Piggy, and more of their friends will be moving right along to Sunset Boulevard, but there's more to the story. The Muppets will be taking over Rock-in' Roller Coaster, teaming up with some of music's biggest stars for a rock and music festival. So they're essentially puppifying a roller coaster, and I'm sure this roller coaster is not going to have a rock band. It's more so going to have Billie Eilish, some of the biggest stars in pop that make terrible music to relate to the kids. I've noticed this, like, there's a lot of music out there now that's just almost like a lo-fi beat with some of the softest, weakest vocals you'll ever hear, and people are finding it great for some reason. That guy Joji, who was formerly Filthy Frank, he's putting out this like lo-fi sad stuff, and people are huge suckers for it. Huge suckers for it. I wouldn't be surprised, but I mean, you can't really make a roller coaster out of that. You can't be listening to lo-fi beats with soft vocals and be on a roller coaster at the same time. They wouldn't mesh together. Well, we already had boomers falling for those extremely fake AI-generated photos on Facebook, and now it looks like the whole world is falling for this AI-generated video of a man using a 100,000 lumen flashlight to escape from the police. You should see the video. It's very AI-generated. You can tell by the look of the car, the way that the overall camera it looks. There's a whole bunch of elements to it. But so many people were just saying, oh my God, this is crazy. How did this person do that? Even this page that we follow on the K-Bear account called the Internet Hall of Fame, they fell for it. Caption says, man uses a 100,000 lumen flashlight to escape from the cops. Luckily, Twitter has that thing on the very bottom where they add context to the situation. And the note says, at 2 seconds at the top of the video, it says the actions and stunts shown in this video are created with AI tools. This video is not real and is created using AI, but still, people will fall for it. And we're in the very early stages of AI generating different videos and pictures and all that. Wait till it actually gets really good. And everybody, even more so, starts falling for AI-generated content out there on the internet. So you can't look at the movie Home Alone from a realistic standpoint, only because that house is huge. How did those parents afford that house? I saw some article yesterday that I was going to talk about on the show about how the Home Alone house is the most expensive Christmas movie house in all of the Christmas movies. It's huge. If you haven't seen Home Alone, what are you doing? Watch it this holiday season. I just saw another article from TMZ that the Home Alone house, cops are on patrol because, the movie's 2 decades old, more than 2 decades old, but people still love it. It's a Christmas classic, and there's a ton of people flocking to the house to take their picture outside of it, to go look at it. It's sort of like going to see Christmas lights, only you're going to stare at somebody's house. So the police are keeping a close eye on the house. They've been doing that each winter. It sits in Winnetka, Illinois. I wonder how they found this house. If they saw this ginormous mansion type of house for the big family that's in the movie. Again, how did they afford this house? How did they afford that vacation? Both vacations in both Home Alone 1 and Home Alone 2 with all those members of the family and be totally okay. And you can't say it was cheaper back then. That would still be a lot of money for this giant house. I wish there was I wish I had the other article pulled up. It showed the square footage and everything about it. I wonder who owns that now. Who now lives in the Home Alone house? Do they get mad when people show up and just stare at the person's house? Just stare. You're like changing one day, you look out the window, there's 16 people all wearing Christmas hats, taking pictures of them outside. I would mess with people like that. If you saw tourists all excited that they're outside the Home Alone house, I think I would just like wear my boxers in the window on purpose just to be in the background of their photos. So people are going to see that new Wicked movie, a movie that I have no interest in whatsoever. I'd rather just watch a blank wall than ever go see that Wicked movie. Just not my thing. And there are a lot of people that think it's okay to, for some reason, just start singing during the middle of that movie. Like they'll sing along to the songs at the top of their lungs which is disturbing a lot of moviegoers. There's this whole online argument between the people who want singing, who like say, hey, you know what? Go ahead. It's a musical. Do it. But then there's the other side that says, hey, shut up. And now Dwayne Johnson, The Rock, is now saying, hey, it's okay to just sing in the movie theater. I have to ask, when is the last time that guy has been in a movie theater to watch any movie? Does that guy even watch his own movies? He used to be a likable dude. He's now transformed into this like, hey, I'll do anything for the right price type of guy. And he's always the same role, which, I mean, let's be honest here. You can't really have a diverse portfolio of roles if you're The Rock, because you're this giant buff dude covered in tattoos, and you can't play another character besides, hey, the big tough guy, because it'll just look silly. It'll look like an SNL skit. But yeah, when's the last time he went to the movie theater and sat down and watched a movie? Probably hasn't done that in so many years. That guy can't go anywhere without a crowd around him. He's super easy to spot because he's a giant wrestler. He's one of the most notable guys in show business. He's one of the best wrestlers of all time, one of the most charismatic guys. And he's over here saying, oh, it's okay. You can sing in the movie theater. I think that guy did not see Moana. He most likely did at the red carpet premiere. He did not go to a regular theater and then say, you know what? Maybe I'll break out into song along with my own song in the movie theater. I mean, who's going to stop him anyway? Like, who's going to yell at The Rock to shut up? Not me. I think I heard Victor talking about tradition and how most people, for some reason, feel the need to follow tradition, even though you're perfectly able to not do that. You can do your own thing. Thanksgiving doesn't need to be about the turkey. I was looking at this survey here about how, like, almost 40% of people are just turned off by turkey. They'd rather have something else. Most Thanksgiving foods I'm not all that into, hence why I've talked about it many times on the show about why I think Thanksgiving is an overrated holiday. But it's just my opinion. And for Thanksgiving as a whole, I mean, when you're in my shoes and you're not really doing anything for Thanksgiving and you prefer not to do anything for Thanksgiving, but then there are these nice people out there that feel bad that you're by yourself for Thanksgiving. Even though you're totally okay with just being by yourself for Thanksgiving, there are these incredibly nice, considerate people who have asked me personally, do you have any plans for Thanksgiving? Which ultimately leads up to that question, would you possibly want to join my family for Thanksgiving? Which, do I really want to have an awkward meal with people that I don't know? And I'm not really the type to talk while I eat. I've said that before, too, on the show. I just eat my food, and I'm rather quiet. I'd rather talk before and after the meal, but during the food, I'm just, I'll eat my food, enjoy it. That's about it. But do I also really want to be asked the questions, what's it like being a radio announcer? And then they'll ask me, like, competing with Spotify, how does radio do it? They'll ask me all these in-depth questions that I have answers for that I don't necessarily want to go in depth about on Thanksgiving out of all days. I should make that a podcast. Make that in depth with Peaches and Victor. We could share all the lessons you need to know about Thanksgiving. And maybe I can hand that out. That's a great idea right there. That's what I should do. Put all those answers into a podcast. And then I make a QR code that sends you directly to that podcast page. So if somebody asks me, so in radio, do you just talk in between the songs? Do you choose the songs? What happens? I just go, shh, hand them this QR code, and they can go from there. This right here is today's What the Headline. So a mysterious shoe theft at a kindergarten classroom in Japan finally been solved. The school started noticing the children's indoor shoes were disappearing from their cubbies at night, feared that someone was breaking in and just stealing these shoes. I like the whole indoor shoe, outdoor shoe thing. I think that's really cool. 15 shoes disappeared one night earlier this month, and then 3 more shoes vanished the next day. The school contacted police, who set up surveillance cameras inside, finally identified the culprit. It's a weasel. Yeah, a weasel was spotted on one of the cameras emerging from behind a wall, taking off with yet another shoe. I don't know if you've ever seen the show Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide. I watched that growing up. You would know immediately what I'm talking about if you watch the show. The weasel. The weasel. Very similar situation over there in Japan. K-Bear 101, I think another reason why I also just don't really like Thanksgiving is that whenever there's a lot of food involved, if I'm at a buffet, Thanksgiving, etc., somebody's bound to make the comment saying, oh, I bet Brendan's going to eat the entire platter just because I'm a taller dude. And I myself don't really eat all that much compared to some people who are of similar height and weight and everything, right? And it made me laugh because I was thinking about this comedian who said every single time he goes to a public place and he leaves the restroom, he looks like that person that every single time when they leave the restroom, they just, left a terrible smell and a surprise in that restroom, if you catch my drift. I think I look like one of those dudes. Like, if you ever see me leave the restroom, oh, Peaches stank it up in there. Similar to how if I'm sitting at a table and somebody makes a comment about the food on my plate, or they say, hey, why aren't you eating more? You're a big boy. You got to fill up the tank. Oh, I hate myself for even saying that. K-Bear 101, slowly but surely, we are uploading every single one of, my interviews so far. I think Victor will get to his once he has time to do so, and eventually we'll have all of our artist interviews available on demand wherever you get your podcasts. The latest one that I uploaded, because I'm going in alphabetical order, is James Labrie of Dream Theater, my very first interview ever in my radio career with James Labrie of Dream Theater. It was back when the band was just about to release A View from the Top of the World, and I interviewed him in the 105 The Hawk studio at the time because Victor was in the K-Bear studio. It was like in the morning. I was so incredibly nervous. It was via phone, too. It wasn't all that hard to talk to some guy over the phone. It's a lot harder to talk to a rock star via Zoom because if it's being recorded, you got to worry about how you ask it, all this stuff with it. And it was funny to listen back to it and hear how, nervous I sounded. But overall, I still think it was a decent interview, at least hearing myself now. It's a whole lot different to hearing myself back when I first started. Back when I first started and hearing or seeing myself on anything, oh man, I hated seeing myself, hated hearing how I sounded. Now it doesn't bother me at all. I could hear myself all day and I could sit here and go, okay, that's my crutch word. That's my crutch phrase. I need to fix that. I need to stop breathing in the microphone. Overall, anyway, go check out our interviews, my artist interviews at least so far. Victor will get his up eventually. The Artist Interrogations podcast, wherever you get your podcasts. It's now time for To Peach Their Own, where I ask you a question. You give me your finest answer at 208-535-1015. Since Thanksgiving's 2 days away, what's that one dish you would ban forever? What's that one Thanksgiving dish you'd happily ban forever? For me, what can I think of right now? What's that one dish? Maybe turkey. Maybe I just get rid of turkey. I don't have a vendetta against turkey. I think it's okay. It's great on sandwiches. It's a great source of protein. But the way people just glorify it for Thanksgiving, how people really just want this turkey, there's so much prep for something that's not even all that great at the end of it. If I spent all day learning how to properly cook a turkey, it's almost like surgery. I'm not speaking from a doctor's standpoint. I'm far from a doctor, but I'm just saying, there's so many different steps if you really want to do a traditional Thanksgiving turkey, and it's not going to come out all that great compared to other foods. I would much rather have a taco bar on Thanksgiving. So I might just go for the main course. Yeah, ban turkey forever. Have people do their own thing. What's that one Thanksgiving dish you'd happily ban forever? That is the question for To Peach Their Own. 208-535-1015. Call me now. K-Bear, what Thanksgiving side dish are you banning forever?
Stuffing.
Stuffing? Why is that?
I hate stuffing.
Really? I just recently found out that stuffing that's not stuffed into the turkey is just called dressing.
Yes, that would make it true. Stuffing is just crap.
So somebody wrote there was some question that I asked previously relating to Thanksgiving food, and somebody said my mom's dressing, and I said, oh, does she make a mean ranch? And he had to explain it to me.
Oh.
Well, 208-535-1015. 1015 to Peach their own. What's that one Thanksgiving dish you would just ban forever? Gone from the table. Let me know. K-Bear, what's happening?
What's up, Peaches?
Oh, nothing much, man. What's that one dish you'd ban from the Thanksgiving table?
This one's going to get me some hate, but turkey.
I'm right there with you.
Well, dude, like, it's the only holiday that it's accepted to eat turkey.
Right.
And like, the rest of the year, I don't see anybody like, God, you know what sounds good? Some turkey, unless
Yeah.
you're making a sandwich. And even then, it's not even that good. Ham's better.
Victor was talking about how his daughters were like excited a year or two ago about
What's going
having
on?
turkey on Thanksgiving. I'm like, who gets excited by that?
Hello.
Right? Well, Victor's kids,
Oh,
that
great to
too.
meet you.
Yeah, they're related to him. They're they're little. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
They're awesome. Tara and
No,
Maddie
they
are
are.
pretty cool.
That one
His
Thanksgiving
daughters
dish
are
banned from
awesome.
the
And
table
Victor's
forever.
awesome
That's my
too,
question for
but
the Peach their own.
I definitely got to give
One guy
crap where
already said
crap's
turkey,
deserved.
like I said.
Yeah, no
Another
kidding.
person just
Turkey, I
cranberries.
agree right there with you. I don't know why everybody just,
Brussels sprouts,
I think it's
another
more
one.
so like the mac and cheese
Yeah.
that everyone gets excited for.
With the
Like,
marshmallows.
that's gone
Yeah.
immediately on the
Right,
table.
Yeah.
The green
No,
bean
they're
casserole, that's like a tomato on a burger. People love it. People hate it. It's kind of controversial.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Keep
it's
it
not
dark
like
in here. We
deviled
also got-
eggs
just got
where
the
it's
blackout curtains
uniformly
installed
just
and-
accepted as the best.
I do know a good amount of people that for some reason dislike deviled eggs, which I do like seeing because more
There
for
we
me
go.
in that situation.
I'm glad we have our own
I knew a
style.
Greek lady who made them with blue cheese, which
Oh.
I thought was going to be disgusting, but oh my God, best deviled eggs I've ever had.
That does sound gross. I feel like I would have to try it at least just to see what it's like.
Yeah, and it was one of those things because she told me and then I saw it and I'm like, nothing about this looks right. Like,
Right.
You should be in jail, woman.
Yeah, definitely. That's a good one. Well, thank you for the answer. I appreciate that.
Yeah, man.
You have a good one.
You too.
K-Bear, what's going on?
Hey, what's up, my man?
Nothing much. What's that dish you want to ban from the Thanksgiving table?
Cranberry sauce, baby.
I like those canned
It's like-
cranberries, but the cranberry sauce.
No, absolutely not. You're crazy.
Dude, I'm that weird guy on Thanksgiving that I'll eat the canned cranberries and then drink milk afterwards, and I love that combo.
That is disgusting.
Thanks for listening to Peach's Pit Party, the podcast. If you enjoy the show, please share, subscribe, and rate the podcast. Peach's Pit Party is hosted by me, Peaches, and is a production of Riverbend Media Group. For more information or to contact the show, visit riverbendmediagroup.com. Until next time, Peach out.